Good morning, everybody. In today's class, we will continue short story number 6, An Angel in Disguise. In the last two classes, we have been discussed page number 77, 78, 79, and 80, 81. Okay, on 82, we have at least, I thought that two paragraphs were completed in page number 82. No? So we will begin today from page number 82, paragraph number 3. Please, everybody, take out a book, page number 82, and make me sure am I visible, audible, and you all have taken out to page 82 or not. Okay. Okay, all right. So here the paragraph 2 I will revise first, that the voice of the strong, rough, and old man shook. He turned his way and saw the most. Okay, he in that type of a condition, that he took Maggie with him, and as they were childless, so his wife, okay, did not ready to accept the girl first, but he somewhere rigid to have Maggie at her home. Actually, when she thought that she was a girl who was disabled, she thought that who will taking care of this girl. But when he somewhere hugged the girl, he taken the girl out in his arm. He had a feeling of a father. He developed a feeling of a father. But in the very starting, when Maggie came into his house, his wife is not ready to accept the girl because of this lack, a great lack, childless mother. She was somewhere very rude with of his condition, with of their condition. So see, when the voice of the strong, rough man comes there, that was somewhere a threatening voice to his wife. And now she was quiet, and then she then realized that he is feeling upset of the condition as he has not any daughter or a child. Okay. Look at her kindly, Jane. Speak to her kindly. And after giving that statement, he told to his wife to look at her where? To Maggie. He told to his wife, Jane, okay, to look at Maggie and speak to her kindly. Think of her dead mother and the loneliness, the pain, and the sorrow that must be all her coming life. So he was focusing to his wife to see the pain, the sorrow, as his her mother was also died. So the condition was somewhere against the girl. So you should be very kind to the girl. The softness of his heart gave unwanted equivalent to his love. As he had developed a great love for the girl, this love has, has given the statement what it is said. Mrs. Thompson did not reply, but presently turned towards the little chamber where her husband had deposited Maggie and pushing open the door. Okay, and then he quiet on that particular time, and then he turned toward the little chamber where he was, put Maggie in that particular room. Pushing open the door, went quietly in. Joe did not follow. He saw that her state had changed. Okay, when he has given that much line to his wife, Joe find that Jane, okay, Joe Thompson find that Jane has somewhere turned her mind. Okay, because Jane also thought that there is a lack of a child in their life as her husband was feeling so. So you can see that this much understanding between husband and wife, as he had felt that feeling, okay, his wife understood, and as he had turned his her feeling, her husband understood. So in this way, you can say, you can see that how the great understanding in between them. See, as they both were suffering from this likeness. No, are you getting this? These things still here? Things are clear to everybody? Okay, all right, very good. Then Joe did not follow. He saw that her state had changed and felt that it would be best to leave her alone with the child. So Joe thought that it would be a good time to leave Jane and Maggie alone. Okay, Jane and Maggie alone, so they could have a good bond between them. Okay, they could have a good bond between them. Clear? Now, so he went to his shop. He stood near the house as work until dusky evening release from his labor. Actually, he was being late for his work, for coming home. Why? Because he, intentionally want to go home late in the late evening. Why? Because so that if he will reach early, and then he has to send Maggie to the poor house, and he really did not want this. Okay, so that is why he was being late intentionally. Now, a light shining through the little chamber window was the first object that attracted Joe's attention on turning towards the house. Okay, here, when he was returning back to his home, he saw the light from the same chamber was coming. Okay, the light from the chamber where Maggie was placed in, a light came. So the light was the good indication. He thought that his wife was somewhere taking care of that girl, of Maggie. Okay, so a good symbolization, light, according to him. Then a light was shining through the little chamber windows was the first object that attracted Joe's attention on turning towards the house. It was good omen. Good omen means a good sign. The path led by him this window, and when opposite, he could help pausing to look in. Okay, so there was a side. He could look from that window, and okay, it was now dark enough outside to screen him from observation. Right? Actually, in that evening time, the scene from the outside can easily be seen what is going inside, because inside there was a light. Okay, there was light, but outside the dark condition. Okay, the atmosphere is being light, so the people who were inside, they could not see that who is observing them, and Joe was observing that what they were doing in that room. Okay, he just wanted to see that the effort what is being done by his wife. Okay, it was now dark enough outside to screen him from observation. Maggie lay a little raised on the pillow with the lamp shining upon her face. There was pillow inside. Okay, she was taking care of her. Mrs. Thompson was sitting by the bed, talking to the child, but her back was towards the window. As her back was towards the window, she could not see that her husband was noticing these things, so that her countenance was not seen. From Maggie's face, therefore, Joe must read the characters of their intercourse. Okay, as he could not see his wife's face, it was behind it, but he could easily see the face of the Maggie, and with the expression of the Maggie, he could read that what intercourse was going between these two persons. That was normal intercourse. Okay, he saw that her voice was intently fixed upon his wife, and now and then a few words came as if in answers from her lips, and that her expression was sad and tender. Okay, in her life the things were somewhere sad. That is why what that girl could see, because from the beginning of her life she could see her mother that was in that, in the habit of taking alcohol and all, in the habit of being dull life. So that could be only seen, but he saw nothing of bitterness or pain. Okay, while their conversation, whatever things he has observed, he found that he was somewhere sad or upset by his, by his answering what she was answering to uh, Jane, but he could not see any pain and bitterness in that voice. So he was somewhere bitterness and upset. These two are somewhere different thing here. Okay, that bitterness, that is, that we can say that full of pain. So there was no pain, there was no bitterness. Even what he could only fix his eyes, and then the expression was somewhere soft and tender. Maggie's expression was somewhere only soft and tender, but it was not in pain or bitterness. So he was satisfied that his wife was taking care of the little girl. A deep drawn breath was followed by as one of relief. He relieved as a weight lifted itself from his heart. Okay. On entering, Joe did not go immediately to the little chamber. He heavily thread about the kitchen, brought his wife somewhat hurriedly from the room and where she had been with Maggie. Joe thought it is best not to refer to the child, not to manifest or any concern in regard of her. Okay, whatever thing he has brought with him, he has kept to the kitchen. He was not interrupted anything to them, and he planned not to discuss anything about Maggie in front of his wife. Okay, when they will sit together, he thought that he will not going to discuss anything about this thing, that poor house and to be sent here and there, about these things. Now, how soon will supper be ready? He asked. Right soon, answered Mrs. Thompson, beginning to the bustle about. There was no asperity to her voice. She was this. Her voice was being normal, and he was actually observing, okay, that the state of his wife. So that is why he asked about supper, and it was almost ready. She told him, and there was no problem. He thought that in her response regarding Maggie. After washing his hands and face, the dust and soul of work, Joe left the kitchen and went to the little bedroom. A pair of large bright eyes looked up at him from the snowy bed, looked at him, looked at him tenderly, gratefully, and pleadingly. The voice was somewhere full of tender, was somewhere, gratefully and pleadingly, doing plea. How his heart swelled in his bosom. With what a quicker motion came into his heartbeats, heartbeats somewhere fills up. Joe sat down and now, for the first time, examining the thin frame carefully under the lamp of light. So, in that first time, that was the first time when he observed Maggie from, very clearly near in the lamp of the light of the lamp. Okay. Saw that it was an attractive face and full of childish sweetness which suffering had not been able to obliterated. It means she was too small to bear that pain. He found that her face was a lovely face, a childish face. Okay, she was too old to suffer these things. Okay, to have that pain. Was his heart was, had the feeling of a father, was observing the girl in a carefully manner. Your name is Maggie, he said, and sat down and looked the soft little hand in his. He has taken his, he has, he has taken her hand, and then after told that your name is Maggie. Softly, he told. Yes, sir. Her voice struck a porch and twittered in a low strain of music. Quite wise. Okay. Have you been sick along? Okay. Yes, sir. What a sweet patient was there in her tone. He asked about his he asked about the sickness, and then she told us, yes, sir. But there was softness in all her replies. Has the doctor been to see you? Any time doctor visited to check you, he used to come. Earlier he used to come, but not lately. No, sir. Have you any pain? Sometimes, but not now. Okay. Asking all the thing that have you any pain as you are suffering for this disease for a longer time and all you are disabled like that. No, she's telling the things to him. This morning, okay, sometimes, but now. So when has you pain? Okay, he asked about the pain. She says, sometimes I feel pain. He asked, when you had this pain? Then she says, this morning. This morning only she came to his house. Says, this morning my sides ache. My side ache this morning and my back hurt. Then you carried me. Say that when you have taken me into your lap, then I had a great pain in my back. Okay. It hurts you to be lifted or moved about. Yes, sir. Your side doesn't ache now. No, sir. Does it ache a great deal? Yes, sir. But it has not ached since any. I have been on this soft bed. Now, that time, because your strong hand was somewhere put into his lap, but now the bed is somewhere very soft. I'm not feeling any pain this time. Clear? Now, supper is ready, said Mrs. Thompson, looking into the room a little while afterwards. She informed that supper is ready. Joe glanced from his wife's face to that of Maggie. She understood him and answered, she can't wait until we are done. Then I will bring her something to eat. Okay? Means they have already eaten something. She had given something to eat to Maggie. Okay? There was an effort and indifference on the part of Mrs. Thompson, which was realized by Joe, her husband. That was the, a motherly feeling, love really starts coming in her mind. And understood that the coldness was assumed. Coldness, that the thing that was cold in her heart, that was assumed. That was now being less. Joe waited after sitting down to the table for his wife too to introduce the subject uppermost in both of their thoughts, but she kept silent on that theme, on that particular theme, on that they have to talk for many minutes, and he maintained like a reserve. At least she said abruptly, "What are you going to do with the child?" She finally she has only given a statement that now what we have planned to do this girl. I thought you understood me that she was to go to the poorhouse, replied Joe, as she surprised at her, as if surprised at her question. So she was feeling a sense of surprising and asked that you are asking me this thing because you already know that she is to be sent where to the poorhouse. Mrs. Thompson looked rather strangely at her husband for a sonic moment and then dropped her eyes. The subject was not again referred to during the meal. Again, it was not being referred by her during that meal. And its close, Mrs. Thompson toasted a slice of bread and softened it with milk and butter, adding to this a cup of tea. She took them into Maggie with bread butter with milk, adding a cup of tea. All things she has prepared for Maggie as well, and held a small waiter on which she had placed them while the hungry child ate with the sign of pleasure. So these things, was the valuable things in the life of Maggie. What things was prepared by Jane? She has taken all the things pleasantly. Good thing, the valuable thing, because every time at her earlier house they were being hungry, half hungry at least. So these were the condition that he found there. The child paused with a cup and a hand and answered with a look of gratitude that awoke the new life of the old man immediately, which had been slumbering in her for a half of the course of the year. It means for a long time it has a good pleasure for Maggie to have that such much a wonderful meal. So till here we will finish this class because now it is 12:15. I hope that one more day we will finish it today. Only one page is remaining, and revise the lesson and try to solve the question answer given in your notebook. Okay. So student, thank you so much.